This tutorial video is the first of 5 tutorials available to support candidates and mentors in completing the requirement for the Teacher Induction Program. Developing your practice is an important goal for not only new teachers but all teachers, as studies clearly indicate that teacher effectiveness is the best indicator for student success. As a new teacher in our induction program, we want to assure you that you're not alone in this journey and that your mentor, your coach, and your ATE staff are there to support you every step of the way. Please don't hesitate to contact us by phone, email, or use the request support link in Blackboard to access the support you need. You will be building an electronic portfolio this year, which will include 3 components: the ILP, a collection of evidence, and the continuum of teaching practice. The first component in the portfolio is the Individualized Learning Plan, which is your professional growth plan that will guide the growth and development of your teaching practice in a very thoughtful and proactive manner, with input from the system of support available to you, which includes your mentor, your site administrator, your ATE coach, and our ATE staff. You will find the ILP template under the Assignments section of the course menu, under Assignments Template. Click on this link to access the Individualized Learning Plan template. The second component of the portfolio is a collection of evidence that documents the growth you achieved in your focused cycle of inquiry, which is a section in your Individualized Learning Plan. The third component of the portfolio is a continuum of teaching practice, which will document your initial developmental level and the developmental level achieved at the beginning and end of each focused cycle of inquiry. The purpose of this component is to document your growth in the California Standards for the Teaching Profession during your 2-year journey in the induction program. You will find the continuum of teaching practice in the Assignment section of the course menu under Assignment Templates. Click on this link to access the Continuum of Teaching Practice template. The Continuum of Teaching Practice has a guide that will give you step-by-step directions of the process you will follow at the beginning and end of each focus cycle of inquiry. We have also made available a step-by-step guide to support you and your mentor in building the portfolio. You will be building the portfolio and including the components that are due at each submission on November 19th, February 18th, and May 6th. You will find the guide under the Assignments section of the course menu in the Build and Submit ILP Portfolio link. Click here to access the steps to building your portfolio. So exactly what is due November 19th? As you can see inside the hot pink outline box, 5 sections of the ILP are due on this date. These 5 sections include the mentor profile, the candidate profile, the candidate's identified needs, collaboration with administrator, the initial date, and the professional growth goals. In February, the components include the focus cycle of inquiry, reflection of progress for the winter, evidence and the continuum of teaching practice. On May 6th, you will submit the same 4 components, but they will be around a different professional growth goal or growth goals. Let's revisit the 5 components of the portfolio due on November 19th. They are the mentor profile, candidate profile, candidates' identified needs, collaboration with administrator, and professional growth goals. Remember that you are building a portfolio, and within this portfolio, you will submit the components required for November 19th. When you submit your portfolio, it will look like the screenshot provided in the slide that you see on the screen. You will name it your name, Individualized Learning Plan Portfolio, and you will include the name of your mentor. You will also indicate if you are a Year 1 or Year 2 candidate. Notice that there is only one item attached to the portfolio. It is the ILP. The reason you only see the ILP in the first submission is that the 5 sections that are due on November 19th are the first 5 sections of the Individualized Learning Plan. In the second submission, due February 18th, you will include 4 components: the focus cycle or cycles of inquiry, reflection of progress for the winter, evidence, and the continuum of teaching practice. Notice that the second submission of the portfolio includes more items. It includes the ILP, which houses the focus cycles of inquiry. It includes the continuum of teaching practice template, which documents your initial developmental level for each CSTP element addressed in the focus cycles of inquiries that you completed in the Individualized Learning Plan. It will also include the developmental level achieved at the end of the focus cycle of inquiry for each CSTP element addressed in the focus cycle of inquiry. It will also include evidence that supports the growth that's documented in the ILP and the continuum of teaching practice. In yellow, you see the first item highlighted, the ILP. The ILP attached will include the completed focus cycles of inquiry for each professional growth plan. In purple, you see the second item, the continuum of teaching practice. In green, you see highlighted the evidence provided for the cycles of inquiry completed in the ILP. The submission due on May 6th will include similar components to the February 18th submission. The components submitted will include new focus cycles of inquiry for additional professional growth goals or additional work within focus cycles of inquiries that were started during the February 18th submission. Remember that the ILP is a living document that allows you to update it throughout the year to document all of your hard work and growth achieved during the school year. The final submission will include the same components, but each component will include the most updated work completed between February 18th, the previous submission, and the May 6th submission. Notice that the components of the portfolio include the updated ILP and the updated Continuum of Teaching Practice, and the new evidence collected for the CSTP elements addressed in the new focus cycles of inquiry in the ILP. At the end of the year, you will have a portfolio that includes all 3 submissions: the fall submission, the winter submission, and the spring submission. Notice that the ILP is a component in each submission throughout the year. The Continuum of Teaching Practice is a component in the winter and spring submissions, documenting the growth in the CSTP elements addressed in the focus cycles of inquiries that are completed in the ILP. Evidence is included in the portfolio in February, in the winter submission, and in May, in the spring submission, to support the focus cycles of inquiries that were completed in the ILP. This slide highlights all of the components that should be included in each portfolio submission: the ILP, the Continuum of Teaching Practice, and the evidence. Remember to access a guide that will provide you with step-by-step directions for building your portfolio in Blackboard. You can access it in Blackboard. Go to the Assignments section of the course menu and click on the Build and Submit ILP Portfolio. Click on the link provided to access that step-by-step guide. The next tutorial video will address the question, what specifically am I submitting on November 19th?